Yeah, I'm definitely I'm a PBR guy for sure. I get made fun of a lot by a lot of people. It's like, how can you drink PBR? I'm like, it comes in 16-ounce cans, like, and they're $2. Like, what more do you need? They're usually less than $3 at a bar. So I'm going out, like, I can drink 5 or 6, and they're tall boys. So that's even like, if you do the 24-ounce can, you're doing like you're doing like maybe
That's
$4.
2 beers, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
2 beers for $4.
Yeah.
It's like, why not? The beer is open. We have a budget, it looks like, right now, because of what I'm standing in front of, which is lovely. For those people not listening or listening on the audio version, if you go to our video version, I now have a green screen, everybody. So this is always going to be a fun little thing.
Yeah, man. Looks cool, man. It looks like what it looks like right now is like you're in one of those like crappy MMA movies where they try to make it look cooler than it really is, like a basement fight. You look like a basement fight in like Never Back Down 7. That's what you look like right now. You have the concrete wall in a cage.
Oh yes, I wanted to look tough and just awesome for our next episode, especially when we're talking about what's coming up for UFC Fight Night 174. But
is it a basement fight?
It's a basement fight.
That would have been a lot more interesting to me. I mean, Fight Island's cool. It's like, Fight Island, man. They're gonna have fights on a beach, man. They're gonna put a practice cage on the beach. It'd be a lot cooler. Like, you know what? We decided to buy an old prison, right? Or if they did fights like an Alcatraz, how cool would that be, man? Fight prison. Right? Put a cage in like an old cell. That'd be amazing, right? You win a belt and tetanus. It'd be fun.
And also a lot of mercury poisoning, along with lead as well.
I got Freddie Mercury poisoning.
Oh,
we're the champions. I just cracked my first beer. Just to make sure everyone they're wondering, how fucked up is Danko? Just normal fucked up. We haven't done one of these for about a week, so I'm pumped to talk about fights with you, Ray. And today's a good day anyway, because today is the 24th, right? Baseball's starting as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole other thing, man. For a while, all I had was fights, and that's great. I have been paying attention to fights more than ever, especially now because we're doing this podcast, and that's great because we both love fights. That's awesome. But baseball, man, that's gonna help out too, man. Start tonight.
I actually just got my I'm a T-Mobile subscriber. They're not a sponsor, so I can say this. But I'm a T-Mobile member, and because they are the official cell phone provider of Major League Baseball, I get the opportunity to get MLB TV for free every year. So that's always cool. A fun time. I always look forward to this time of year because it's great to, like, especially if there's nothing on that you're gonna binge watch and shit. I mean, right. It would definitely be, it's the best thing to do is just click on that, and you don't have to have a TV subscription. It's just right there in front of you. So it's always a nice thing, man. It's wonderful.
And you're a Pirates fan, right? So you're out of range for Pirates games. But yes. Now you can watch the Pirates.
Yeah. We had, what's it called? Game or League Pass or whatever it was. MLB League Pass every year.
Extra innings? Is that what it's called?
Extra innings. That's it.
Extra innings, yeah.
There is a fucking delay right here. There's like a delay between me and what I'm saying a little bit, is there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Fuck. Okay,
well, I mean, if you're listening to the audio, you can still hear Ray's amazing.
Yes.
Raising pipes.
Yes, it's definitely.
And if you're watching on YouTube, it looks like a really bad ventriloquist act. So whatever.
I'm auto-enjoyed. Suck that cock.
Right. In the basement prison, that is his background.
Yes, and we were talking when you said the prison. Why not just like buy Mansfield? Buy like that, like a portion of Mansfield, one of the wings where the prisoners stayed. Knock it down, and then have fighters rebuild it and have fighters stay there. I think that would be Shawshank UFC.
I mean, it's haunted too, right?
Yes.
Right. So there'd be like 4 men in the cage, right? There's fighter A, fighter B, no nonsense Keith Peterson,
The alcohol
and the ghost of Chainsaw Joe McGee. Right, you try to fight off a rear naked choke and some murdery ghost is chainsaw attack.
He's just all of a sudden he just sees his legs levitating for no reason. It's just like, oh my God, Joe McGee.
That's true. And the post Octagon interview, he possesses the fighter that won and tells everybody who killed him. Normal stuff like that.
And then he reveals where all the bodies were, because you have to have that moment as well, because he's feeling remorse. That's how ghost gets to the other side.
Yes, see, it's going to work out. So many ghosts are going to be able to go to the great beyond from this idea we have of fight prison, right?
Prison.
They possess a fighter or Joe Rogan, right? They tell the world their secrets, right? And then they get their unfinished business taken care of, and boom, they're on to the great beyond, man. And with a W too, man, you get a win, right? You get to go to heaven. That'd be a good one, man. That'd be good. A lot of fun, brother. I like this idea.
I could definitely see Rogan's interview, and since the background's here, I can actually do it. Be like, you just admitted to actually giving five bodies up that were killed in 1965, and you're going to the great beyond. How do you feel? I feel great, Joe. It's a time for me to really say, you know what? Screw them bitches. I'm going to heaven. Yeah. Like, that would be the whole point of that, would be just for him to go to the great beyond. But he doesn't, because he got cocky.
I don't know the rules, man. I'm not the one who judges. I don't know what the rules are at the pearly gates. I don't know if there's like a what's the word I'm looking for? A statute of limitations, or the opposite of that, right? Your time expires, right? Maybe you took too long, right, to finish your stuff on Earth, and man, maybe you just you aged out of it, man. Maybe you missed your chance. Maybe you only had like 20, 30 years, and if it passes, man, it doesn't matter anymore, man. You're overdue. I mean, I don't know the rules. I don't know the rules.
I can definitely see that point. I can definitely understand that point. And like, if you think about it, though, wouldn't they also have something where in like purgatory or someplace like that, where like it's like, oh, you need to renew with because you know how bureaucratic society is anyway. Oh, you got to go to purgatory and re-up your ghost license for 3 years because I know that's what I have to do. But
Can you imagine afterlife DMV? Oh man, all the poor souls in that line.
It's just like, man,
DMV is essentially purgatory anyway.
Yeah,
right?
For sure, without a doubt, it is, dude. I hate going to the DMV just because
everyone does, because you're people. Everyone hates.
You go. Luckily, I've had good experiences where they've been sort of quick. I've never really had, like, Denver was the only one where I was like there for 45 minutes, and 10 of those was waiting for the Uber to go back to the place I was staying at.
Yeah, I think I've been relatively lucky with that too. Now I say that next time I go, it's going to be hell. But yeah. I feel like we try to go on one of those, impromptu rants to see where things take us. And I think what happened was the wheels came off way too early, man. And we just went crashing into a fiery hellhole, man. You know what though? I like it. That's how things are going to be with us every single time, probably on this podcast, because we both have freaking ADHD and have substance abuse problems. So
yes,
that should, man.
I just don't have money for booze right now. That's the only bad part.
Really straightforward conversation that makes sense. I'm guaranteed most episodes, if I went back and listened to them, I'd be like, "What the fuck are we talking about?" Especially now.
I've had a lot of podcasts
any
like
good
that.
Good start or end or middle. I don't know what the hell we were talking about, but it seemed fun, and it seems like I'm having fun. So I'm going to drink some more beer, and what are we going to talk about, Ray?
Well, I mean, the one thing that we didn't get to talk about last week because some things came up. And also, hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bro Plata Podcast.
Hi there, folks.
I am Ray Hyclak, and to my left or to my right over here, yeah, it would be my right. The lovely human being known only to the world as Tim Danko. Tim Danko is a former MMA fighter with a wonderful record of 0-1 in the world of amateur mixed martial arts.
Are we going to bring that up every episode? Or?
I mean, just only when I want to, really.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm just wondering. Eventually, we'll have the episode where we if we don't fund the video, I could talk about it and we'll break it down. And we'll finally put that to bed.
Oh yeah, I want that to. I want to have.
We're gonna have one of my cornermen on here next episode.
Yes.
So you can ask him about that too.
This episode is going up Saturday, or actually, yeah, probably Friday night, Saturday morning. I will have the audio version of this episode up. You can get that on many places: Spotify, Google Podcast. I think we're on iTunes. I'm not sure. And then Anchor FM. Anchor FM is the main hub, obviously, where we post everything, but it goes out to all those from there. Link in the description of this video as well to all the area places that we have podcasts. So copy the links, share them out, get us some support out there because we want to grow this podcast big time. And it's without a doubt, we love the fact that people have listened to episodes and, getting everything out. And every time we have a show coming up or a pay-per-view or a fight night, me and Tim will be breaking it down for you to enjoy every time. And then obviously you can get our video episode on YouTube as well. At Bro Plata, just search that out. It's like a Go Plata, but way more PBR, guys. That's how we're looking at life. Way more PBR. And then what are you drinking over there, by the way?
Me, I got the Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. That's my summer beer.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, I do. I like it. I like it a good bit. I like it because as summer comes around, it gets hot. You like the little lemon taste. And there's a lot of lemonade beers out there. But this one, Leinenkugel, is my favorite because also not a sponsor. Although they should sponsor us. They should. That'd be great. Yeah. Because this one tastes like beer. There's a lot of other lemonade beers that don't taste like beer. They taste like some kind of like weird lemon wine cooler or something. Like Shock Top. Not really into that one, man. I think Sam Adams had one too. I didn't like very much. But Leinenkugel, man, it's some good stuff.
I drink it whenever. I think Pete always gets it at the Funny Stop too, doesn't he? He always
he didn't get the Summer Shandy, man. He got a different one. I think maybe they got it by mistake because usually he gets the Summer Shandy, but I forget which one he got. It's a different one. It might be the raspberry one. I don't know. The only Leinenkugel beer I actually like is the Summer Shandy. I've had their other ones. They have other fruit ones. Not really into it. They have an October beer. Honestly, I don't like October beers at all, really, man. That's my least favorite beer season is fall, right? I like the summer. I like Christmas sales. Right, some good Christmas sales out there. Thirsty Dog's my favorite.
Okay, but yeah, that one's a good one.
Yeah, but everything pumpkin, man. Pumpkin and beer tastes gross to me.
Mm-hmm.
All the autumn seasonal beers are gross to me. I haven't had one that I really liked. I mean, I've had ones that are tolerable, but not ones I'm gonna go out and buy. A 12-pack of.
Oh no! And my thing is, I'm not a beer snob. Like, I'm not a guy who, whenever I go to my buddies for fights and stuff like that, it's always usually PBR or Budweiser. If I have money in my bank account, I may splurge on Guinness just because I'm like, I like Guinness. Yes, I do. It's a fun beer, man. I like that stuff. I'm not really into like seasonal beers at all. Like, to me, seasonal beer.
But I will say this, man. If Leinenkugel Summer Shandy was available all year round, I probably would be sick of it already, and I probably wouldn't drink it anymore. But I think it's only because you can only get it for about 3 months a year, right?
I like Natter Days. Those are good. Those like that. Have you had the Natural Light Natter Days? They're like a lemonade beer. It's actually
I don't trust anything Natty does, man.
Hey, I'm alive.
Last summer I tried their seltzer for a minute, and that just was disgusting, man. I'm not a
seltzer guy.
It's way too sweet. No. Way too sweet. Even White Claws, I'm not into those either, man. Even though I'm a big dude, I'm a fat man, I should probably try something with less calories to drink. And Leinenkugel Summer Shandy is not one of them, man. Like, when I don't do this, I do like Bud Light usually, and that's a lot less calories. But like Michelob Ultra, if you like the diet beer, I should probably start drinking.
That was like a happy hour beer for like LVT a couple weeks ago. I think was like Michelob was like $1.25.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like, we have the Truly lemonades that are here. at the where I'm staying, and also I think Smirnoff red, white, and blue berry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty like those are decent if they're flavored, but just like straight like White Claw is just trash. They're garbage.
You know what beer I love to get when it's on sale at a bar?
Do tell.
Any beer. Any beer, one of my favorite bars to go to in Kent is the Zypher, right?
Yeah, Zypher rules.
In Kent, yeah, I love that place, right? Every time I go there, they have a beer of the month, and every time I go there, I have the beer of the month on draft. This is $2 or whatever, and it's usually something drinkable. It's usually like a Coors Light or a Bud Light, Miller Light. Usually, every once in a while, it'll be something different, but yeah, almost every time because that's how much I really care. I mean, do I like craft beers? I do. Yeah, I'll go to a brewery and get their stuff. There's a brewery by my house that just opened up. It's called Five Barrel Bullet Brewing Company.
Ooh.
And they have good stuff, and I can walk there. And I don't walk very far, so if it's pretty close for me, if I can walk there, it takes me 4 minutes to walk there. So it's right there. But they have good stuff. But besides that, yeah, I'll drink whatever.
Yeah, I'm that.
I like
guy.
PBR too. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm a PBR guy for sure. I get made fun of a lot by a lot of people. It's like, how can you drink PBR? I'm like, it comes in 16-ounce cans, like, and they're $2. Like, what more do you need? They're usually less than $3 at a bar. So I'm going out like I can drink 5 or 6, and they're tall boys. So that's even like if you do the 24-ounce can, you're doing like you're doing like maybe $4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 beers for $4. It's like, why not?
I don't know if they make them anymore. They used to before they were bought by that Russian company that now owns PBR. But did you ever have the 32s?
Yes. Yeah.
Those are great. I used to have those all the time when I was hosting a show at Buzzbin in Canton. They had them all the time, and I would get those 32S PBRs.
They used to be like $6 at the 5 o'clock lounge in Lakewood. When they used to be like $6, and I would buy like 2 of them and not finish. Like I wouldn't even finish like the second one. Like it because it was just so much fucking alcohol. You're just like, I need an adult right now. I need an adult.
Right, man. And the goal is, you want to drink that 32 ounces before it gets warm. So you're doing almost 3 beers relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But you feel like a badass holding that big ass can.
It's like do you remember the BFCs from Monster?
Yes.
I used to drink like when I was like, oh God, this was after my old man passed away. So I was like 20. I would drink 3 of those a day working.
How did you not die, man? How did you not? I drink one of those, man, and my heartbeat goes like to 130 resting. I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is it. This is how it ends.
I have high blood pressure to begin with, so it's like I already screwed myself so many times down the line, so many times. It's disturbing. It's crazy the amount of like just stuff. I've never done, and that's the funny thing is I've never done a hard drug in my life outside of like pills and DMT. Like I've never done any other drug. But yet I know I'm like the amount of guarana that just went into my body is just going to kill me. Like we're done.
Well, that's what we need to do for like the first Bro Plata road trip is we need to find one of these states that's having live cards, right? And we need to get a bunch of cocaine. Right, and we're just gonna do a Fear and Loathing, right, to Iowa or some shit, and we just to cover some card with 2 50-year-olds fighting.
Well,
the Bro Coke show, that'd be hilarious.
I was about to actually say, man, we need to talk about that since we were talking about things we need to talk about.
That's right.
Man, the Pat Miletich just probably has all the coronavirus right now.
Very possibly. What you break this down? What happened, or do you want me to do it?
I will do it myself. Okay. You can
take it away, sir.
Names.
I will look them up.
Yes. So if you haven't looked it up, we will be posting it on our Facebook at Bro Plata about this. Pat Miletich had a kickboxing fight in Iowa, and with fans, no social distancing. Again, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm not saying that this is something where we need to be like, oh my God, we need to like, it's a concern, but people are going to do
I am. I'll
Okay.
say it. I'm nervous about it, man. I mean, not that they had to fight. That they had 3,500 people at the fight.
Yeah, I was just about to ask
social distancing. That scares the hell out of me, man.
They had 3,500 people.
That's what the article I've read said. And I don't know if – I didn't hear anything else. Don't know. Have a lot of context, so I don't know if they did temperature checks. I hope they at least did. I don't know if they did masks. I hope they did. I mean, there's no way you can test 3,500 people.
No.
So or make them get tested. So I have no idea. But, yeah, there's a lot of people to see this fight. Pat Milicic, who is 52 years old, was doing it. It was essentially a kickboxing match against 57-year-old former boxing champion Michael Nunn.
Yeah.
That's what happened in Davenport, Iowa.
To me, and that's the funny part about it is like it shows you in this quarantine how many people really just don't give a shit, and I applaud the not giving a shit part about it, but at the same time, 3,500 people have been probably exposed to the coronavirus in Iowa of all places. Iowa, where it's the future birthplace of none other than James T. Kirk, for Christ's sake. Pat Milicic is from there. Isn't it? Yeah. Matt Hughes is from Iowa, I believe.
I think he's definitely from the Midwest, one of those minor
I thought he was
states.
from Iowa. I thought he was
Iowa.
from – because he was a Milicic disciple to begin with.
It may have been.
But what was your take on this? Not people weren't wearing masks in the videos. I saw no masks.
Mm-hmm.
What was your thought process?
Well, I'm not a doctor, man. However, I wouldn't do that right now. I wouldn't go to one of those right now.
No.
Unless maybe if one of my friends was fighting. But even then, man, I would wear a mask for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely wear a mask. I don't know, man. I don't know what the thought process was in this. I don't know how difficult it was for the Iowa Athletic Commission. We know a guy who's done some comedy, Gene Walker, who we'll have Gene on at some point probably.
Yeah,
Gene's a really cool guy. Gene's a really cool guy to talk to about MMA, and he manages fighters, and he's from Iowa. And I asked him about this, and he sent me a long thing on Facebook. He seemed like he was pretty much for it. He liked that they were doing it, and I told him that from what I'm hearing, Ohio's not going to do anything like that anytime soon.
No,
and
Ohio
kind of silly, but there's different thought processes. I mean, I don't know what Ohio's doing. I don't know what Iowa's done. And the other states, I looked up recently, there's like 8 or 9 states that are going to have cards this month and next month. A lot more than I thought. Yeah, Connecticut, Kansas, Kentucky. I think Kentucky's having a card.
Okay.
Yeah, I think northeast Kentucky, so not too far from us. But
no,
yeah, they're having a card. I don't know if they're having fans or not. I would just guess no, but I was surprised to see Iowa is. I know South Dakota is having cards every week with LFA, but they're not having fans. Yeah, they're having every week, and Gene said that South Dakota is really the ones pushing it because they're having cards every week. But I don't know. I don't know what the process goes in those states because most states have their own athletic commissions, right?
Yeah.
So they have to do their own independent study. They have to do their own independent independent study. They have to talk to their own doctors. They have to make their own decisions, come up with their own plans. I mean, they can look at what other states are doing, but right now, I guess they're probably looking at what the UFC did in Florida and what LFA is doing in South Dakota. However, I don't know. It seems like a real big jump to this 3,500 person event in Iowa. That's a big jump. It's a really big jump. But I am curious what the thought process was there and why they said, okay, let's give it a try.
I don't know, but I mean, there must have been some kind of, they're all, it's farm boys and people who just pluck corn every day. So it's like you never know what their thought process is. Did they? Were they taking temperatures? It didn't look like there was any kind of real social distancing going on.
No, I mean, there's a little bit of video. There's some pictures, and I've read a couple articles that pretty much said the same thing. But they didn't say much. Didn't say anything about temperature checks or what the commission's thought process was going into this, or anything like that.
And
so I'm not really sure.
And I mean, I'm all for the idea of having them, do card and not have fans in it. I know that makes a lot of people mad. It's sort of also looking like the NFL is going to have no fans and stuff like that as well. So, I mean, this is going to be a year where that's going to be a thing, where there's going to be no fans. And for the lower MMA leagues, to be honest with you, I have an idea, which is basically, somebody's backyard, stand the thing up there, stand the cage in a backyard, somebody's house, and then just stream it and sell digital tickets to it. Why not? That way, one, there's video. Two, you have a commission and you can be like, this is the site. We own this place. That's it. I think that would be a great little way to get money for people, sell the streams, and have people watch, lower level MMA on, pay-per-view for, meager thing. I'm thinking like $15. Why not?
I'm going to guess they made the fighters and the cornermen take COVID tests, but I don't know. I know in Ohio, they're saying that's something that's definitely going to have to be done. So any promotion whose most of their money, all the small promotions, comes from gate.
Yeah.
A lot, almost all of it. They do digital streams, but still, almost all of it is gate. So now you're thinking, okay, what if I have to have a card, right? Usually you do a pro-am, you have 3 pro fights. So those 6 fighters you're paying. The rest are amateurs you're not paying. But now you have to pay for how many COVID tests? Yeah. Which costs, I don't know how much, $7,500 I think I've heard. I could be wrong. I have no idea. Maybe you can get them in bulk. I have no idea. But it costs money. That's the point. I have no idea how much they cost. I just know they do cost money. So that's the money you have to spend out of pocket, right, to get everyone tested. So now you have however many fighters, right, and quartermen to get tests, and then you have no gate. So who's right now is confident enough with these small promotions to be like, yeah, we can do that, and I won't lose any money. I wouldn't do it. Not now, man. I don't know everyone else's business model, but me personally, if I was thinking about starting my own promotion, now would not be the time.
Not starting a new promotion, but existing ones can at least,
maybe, but
names. It's
maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a wild time.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to hope that you get, I don't know, 1,000 times more pay-per-view buys on the live stream than you've ever gotten before. I don't know. Whatever your biggest number was, you need a lot more than that.
Oh yeah,
because you're taking away all, and you figured you probably would, because people aren't going to be able to be there in person. But it's a big leap to take. But also, there's people who are trying it. So other promotions, like these Ohio promotions, they're going to see what other states are doing, and maybe it's not impossible. They will eventually try something out that the commission in the state allows.
Oh, for sure, dude. And I'm hoping one day we can go back to having everything back to where we can go to fights again and watch these things live, because I will. That's going to be one of the first things I'm going to do. Is probably won't be a UFC, but it'll be I'll find one locally where I can go and definitely go watch the fights there. And speaking of local fights, we will have Andrew Law. The episode will be up tomorrow, or Sunday actually. This episode will go up on Friday or Friday, Saturday on the audio. And then video will be up sometime during the week. But always make sure to go to those things. But let's talk, since there is a card going on at the time that we're recording. Actually, real quick, since I have it open on my computer, sir, I'm going to put the camera on you. And what was your opinion on the Joseph Benavidez Figueiredo fight?
Figueiredo is a beast. I mean, we kind of knew that already. Not really surprised, but man, he looked good. And I mean, that's not easy to do against someone. I mean, Benavidez is a tough dude. He really is. But what happened is, this is the second time they fought, right? The first time they fought for a title, Figueiredo, he finished him, right? I don't know which round, but he finished him quickly. Not as quickly as this time. I think maybe it was the third round. He finished him, right? And it's not easy to finish someone quickly twice in a row as good as Benavidez, man. Right?
It was the first round, by the way. I just
first round.
Yes, by submission.
And the first, no, that was the last fight.
Oh,
The first
the
fight.
fourth round. Yeah, no, sorry,
Okay.
I was looking at the card. So, but
to beat somebody that tough twice in a row, right? You knew he was going to be ready for you, right? Benavidez knew what was going to come. He was going to try to do better, obviously, than the last time. And man, Benavidez stuffed it up, but so did Figueroa, much more, right? And he punked him, man. He punked him bad. He did. I like Joseph Benavidez a lot, man, but he got punked. He did not look great in that fight, man. But I think Figueroa is just a superior fighter by a lot. Yeah. And Benavidez is one of those guys, man. He has that Kenny Florian syndrome, man. The guy's like, keep fighting for titles, but he never wins the title.
Yeah.
It's right there, but not quite. I think this is at least his third title fight, maybe his fourth. He fought Mighty Mouse twice? Okay.
Yeah, he fought Mighty Mouse twice, and then
this is fourth. Yeah. Because he could have won the title the first time. Davidson couldn't because he missed weight. But if Benavidez would have won the first fight, he would have won the title.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is his fourth.
Okay, yeah. So the fourth time. And
he said it after the fight. You know, he was teary-eyed. He's like, I'm not going to get another shot. And he's probably right.
Yeah, yeah. It was that fight to me when that whole fight started, I was worried for Benavidez going into this because I didn't know what that first loss after the headbutt, how much did that get into his head? You know, what was going through his mind? Just, you know, it cost him in this fight because Figueroa just wrapped him up. It was done, son. Put a bow and then send him back to Megan O'Leary so she can be the breadwinner now. It was just like, ugh, dude. I liked it. I was very happy for Figueroa, and this time, luckily, it was definitive and there wasn't any controversy. He just locked it up and it was over, son.
Right, because Benavidez, Figueroa missed weight the first time. Benavidez got this miracle second chance he wouldn't have got normally, and Figueroa said, "Well, good for you." And go fuck yourself because I'm going to punk you bad. And he submitted him in the first round. Dude, that guy's tough. He's only had, one loss, and I don't know when that was.
Years ago. It was years ago.
It was like an early loss. Okay.
Years ago.
Yeah. He's a tough dude. I don't know how many of these guys at flyweight because now I'm getting a little more familiar with this division because I wasn't. So I've been looking guys up and watching some fights. There's some tough dudes, obviously, in that division. But, man, he's a monster. He really is.
Straight savage.
Yeah, he is.
Straight savage, sir.
The only really interesting fight for him, I think, right now is what we talked about last episode. And I've read this other places, so I wasn't crazy what I was telling you, right?
Well, that's a good thing.
Cody Garbrandt might move down to flyweight. He's saying he will. He may. And they may give him that fight just because that's the most interesting fight.
Yeah, it's the best fight to get, and it's the fight that'll get the most eyes on it. And I think that would be for Figueroa, especially to help establish the 125 division. That is a great fight to put on because you'll have those highlights of both of these dudes just knocking each other out. And Cody, I think Cody could definitely make a good 125 champ. I said that in the last episode, I believe.
Yeah, because we talked about how he was a 135er as an amateur, which is when you weigh in same day. So he said for a long time, I know we've said this a while, they've just been thinking about flyweight. So it's not that strange. I would assume maybe they give him the title shot, although the precedent on this is a little iffy because sometimes they would give a guy a shot like that. Other times you could absolutely see them saying something like, well, he's going to pay his dues as a new division. Yeah. There's all these guys waiting in line. We're not just going to give it to him because he's coming down. Or they could absolutely give it to him right away. They've done both.
Yes.
So I don't know. I have no idea which one they would do. I guess it would just depend on what kind of mood they're in, honestly. I could see them doing either, and I wouldn't be surprised about either.
Yeah, I could see this definitely being a side of the bed situation.
There wasn't a guy waiting in the wings, though.
No.
I mean, there's a number one contender or the next contender, but I don't think there was a clear cut. Like Aljamain Sterling at bantamweight is obviously the next guy who's going to get a shot. Everyone knows that. Yes. Everyone knew that before the last title fight. Flyweight is not like that. So if they're going to sneak a guy in, this would probably be the time. Although I also heard he's fighting. He might fight Marlon Moraes.
Why?
At bantamweight, I don't know because he's the number one contender, and they think that's a good fight.
But okay, did you see his thing on Peter Yan that he called him Paper Yan on Instagram? There's
Who was this? Was this
Sterling? Yeah, Aljamain.
Sterling.
A picture on his Instagram. That had like a paper championship over it, and it said "Paper Jan" on the title. It was quite. So the feud right there is already getting heated up between Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan. And I'm excited to see those two fight. That's going to be for the 135-pound title. That's going to be sexy, bitches. Like, it's going to be awesome.
Probably the next stint at Fight Island, which I think maybe like October.
Okay.
I think is what they're saying. They haven't made it official, but that's what kind of what I'm hearing.
Okay. I like it. Absolutely. Now, let's move on, since we talked about the title match, and congratulations to Figueroa for winning the belt.
There you go, champ.
Yeah. Woo!
It's for you, champ. He's a beast, man. I can't wait to watch that guy fight again. He's a
hell yeah, dude! I'll probably watch it when it goes up on Fight Pass, and make sure, because that'll come out probably within the next month. They'll have that, and also ESPN Plus will probably have it too.
Plus has it right now.
Yes, so go watch it. Go watch it. Let's talk about the fight happening tomorrow. Our preliminary card starts at 5 p.m. and the main card starts at 8 p.m. on ESPN, baby.
Oh, man. Ray, I had something I wanted to talk about with the last card.
Ooh.
Get into this card, right? Something.
Yes.
Okay, so last episode, I should have told you this, right? Last episode, I said I was going to start picking an underdog of the card, right?
Yes.
I said if I was a betting man, right? I'm going to change it. I'm not changing it now. I'm going to call it the underdog of the card, because I'm not saying they're smart bets. I said I'm just going to pick an underdog. If I start getting a lot of these right, then there's something wrong, because they're underdogs, right? If I start getting these right a lot, I'm going to start betting, because they're underdogs. I'm always picking an underdog.
Oh my!
And I went 0 for, what was it, 0 for 2? Because I said I had Holloway, even though I didn't tell you beforehand. But I did retroactively give myself the loss because I wasn't lying to you. So I think I can retroactively give myself a win, because I did pick a one, and I got it right. This guy, Alvarez, against Joe Duffy. He was like a 275 underdog against Joe Duffy.
Yes.
And he had a good submission against Joe Duffy, then made Joe Duffy retire, apparently.
Yeah.
So that was a good fight, man. He looked really good. I wish I did put money on that, because I had this one right. So I'll give myself 1 win, 2 losses on this underdog of the card.
1 win, 2 losses.
Yeah, so far. And, man, that Alvarez guy, your background reminds me of his tattoo, because he has a tattoo on his leg.
Yeah, he had like a cage on his leg.
It was it was cage fencing around his upper of his thigh. And if, in context, him fighting, you know what it is. Oh, it's cage fencing. Right, but besides that, it looks sexy, bro. It looks like he has fishnet on his leg. That's what it looks like. I'm like, does that dude have fishnet tattooed on him? Does he like burlesque dance when he's not fighting? Is it his second job? He's a burlesque dancer. I'm like, I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, look at this guy looking sexy with this fishnet tattoo. I like it, man. I like it. I want him to see get the whole leg caged up.
Yes, just make it Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show all the way down.
Little Tim Curry action. Sweet transvestite action.
I'm just a sweet cage fighter, yeah. That bombed very hard, and I appreciated the fact that it bombed hard.
It's going to happen a lot on this podcast from both sides.
Very, very. That's why we're also comics.
Rants to nowhere, bomb jokes, yeah.
We're going to bomb on the podcast.
Exciting stuff, man. Exciting stuff happening at the Bro Plata.
I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this card, because this is a fucking stacked-ass card, even just on the prelim. You got some really good fighters on the preliminary card, and Francisco Trinaldo is on this, folks. Francisco by God Trinaldo. The reason I love Yancy Medeiros to this day is Francisco Trinaldo at UFC 189 when he beat the shit out of him, and I was like, holy fuck, Yancy Medeiros can take a fucking punch. Then there's a lot of just sleeper fights on this card, I can guarantee you, because that's always what it is with. I've always had that thought process. I don't know if you've had that thought process on cards. And I think we've talked about it before. But when you have cards where you're like, I know no one, I know no, I have no real like personage to fight to root for because I don't know who these guys and girls are.
Mm-hmm.
These cards are always the best cards because they come out with just savage knockouts. And it's a great time to watch because you're just like, I don't know this dude, but guess what? He's getting a follow. Like, I need to start following his training camp every time because
we talked about it before. It's like getting a really badass, violent Christmas present, man. You don't know what you're going to open up. This guy's a submission dude. This guy's a wrestler, some kind of kickboxer. You have no idea. And you have these great fighters. I mean, the difference between those fights and like the main event fights are just who the other fighters are, right?
Yeah.
Just the anticipation doesn't mean the fight's going to be any better or worse. A lot of times those undercard fights are often better.
Yeah,
it's just the anticipation that's built up for the names. But yeah, there's always a lot of great fights on that card. There's a guy who fought on the a week ago Wednesday, the Ige Cater card.
Yeah,
I forget his name. He's fighting tomorrow.
Oh, Hamzat Himayev. Yes.
Yeah, he was a monster, and he's like, I'm staying here. I want another fight, and they gave him one. Some Irish kid named McKee or something like that.
He got one as well. And I also think isn't even because they're talking about having 252 at Fight Island, I believe. I'm not sure if they're still going to do that with Vegas and everything, because even Dana White was like, I may be spending a lot of time here doing fights. I think Sean O'Malley is going to be fighting again soon too, so that's going to be
fighting
fun.
on the DC Stipe card.
But yeah, Hamzat Himayev is a savage of a human being. His last fight, that was a mauling. That was like straight up Russian bear mauling. And I like the fact that this kid wants to fight more. I like the fact that he's like, hey, I got the hotel. I'm here. Why not? It's definitely something you need. You need in the UFC is guys like this who are, one, entertaining as fuck, and two, can win in spectacular fashion in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, man. Young, good-looking kid. He's good on the mic.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's one of the bigger guys with light heavyweight or is it middleweight? One of the two.
Light heavy or welterweight.
Okay. But he fought John Phillips, who's not a slouch. He's not a wrestler. He's not a ground guy, but he's not a slouch either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the way he beat a guy like that, a veteran dude like that, the way he did, yeah, I'm excited to see this guy fight again. And his line, this is not my underdog of the card, because the kid he's fighting is a plus 800 underdog, which would be one of the bigger upsets in UFC history.
Oh, yeah. I'd put $5 on that.
Yeah, that kid's minus 1,200, so I will not be betting on him. So, but yeah, that's a huge line. That's a huge line. I mean, that's what kind of impression that he put up the last fight against John Phillips. That his next fight, a week and a half later, he's the minus 1,200 favorite. That's crazy.
It's insane, man. And it's good to see that we have fighters like this in the UFC where we can actually have good-ass fights out of them, and they can perform, down the line even more. Alex Cowboy Oliveira will be fighting Peter Sabata. That's going to be a fucking war. Yeah,
those guys always throw, man.
Oh, for sure.
Cowboy Oliveira's, man. He's always a great guy to watch fight, man.
One of my favorite fights of his, going back actually to Yancy Medeiros, my favorite fighter of all time. I love Yancy Medeiros. Him and Oliveira had a match. I want to say it was a couple years ago now, maybe a year and a half. And Yancy wound up winning with elbows and just crushing Cowboy's face. But at the same time, that was a great fight. I'm always a fan of Cowboy Oliveira when he gets in the octagon because I know I'm going to get at least a few spin kicks out of the deal, which is always a fun time.
Yeah, man, that's a fight I wish I would have went to. Another one. Wasn't that Cowboy versus Cowboy in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Yeah, I should have went to that.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that one, but I didn't. I think I didn't have the money for it.
I think that's why I didn't go to. It must have been because Cody was fighting on that. Garbrandt was fighting on that card as well, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, because they gave him a late replacement because,
that was the PPG.
Lineker. He was supposed to fight Lineker.
Oh,
but I forget who he did fight. It was I can't remember. But they gave him a fight because they knew he was going to sell tickets to that because a lot of people from this area went up there. But yeah, it must have been. Same thing with the Stipe fight. I didn't go because I didn't have any money.
Yeah, I went to the Stipe one.
I know you did. I wish I would have, man. I'm sure.
My T-shirt.
Yeah, I
You're
like it.
Dude,
Like
that
it.
was so much fun. I
I
love
bet it
that
was,
card.
man.
We'll talk. We'll break. I want to break that one down just because I was there and I still remember
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff.
Oh man, that must have been, man, must have been so damn loud.
It was at the end, and we'll save this for the thing, but we'll save a lot of my opinions on the card, not the whole event and everything like that until then. But like the sound was just like I had to cover my ears at one point. It was that loud in the arena. It was deafening. Like it was that piercing sound of just high pitch. Everybody just lose it. The place shook. Like it was insane. I loved it.
That's great, man.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. It was great. It was such a great time, and I'm so glad my first UFC was in Cleveland, of all places to be, your hometown, and you go watch an arena you grew up in your whole life, and then you're part of the pay-per-view. You're in the pay-per-view space. You're like, yes, this is fucking awesome. Oh, it's my favorite UFC of all time, and that's a fact. What do you think about Paul Craig and Antigulov? Paul Craig and Antigulov. Obviously, this is a light heavyweight one. Paul Craig is a savage.
Yeah. I don't think I really remember who Antigulov is right now.
I don't know the name off the top of my head.
Paul Craig, I know.
Paul Craig's a fucking lunatic, dude. I love Paul Craig. His fights.
So I think it's going to be a fun fight because he's an exciting fighter. So that's what I think. I think it's going to be a good fight, man, because you got Craig in there, and he's a monster.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I'm looking forward to that one because Paul Craig at least will move him up, in my opinion, in the ranks in the UFC light heavyweight division, which needs talent. Like it needs talent.
Isn't it so weird, man? We can talk about this either now or sometime. It's just weird that divisions, the way divisions go, man. Like right now, when we talked about flyweight's going to get better soon because people are going to start paying more attention to it now that it's more open. Now, Figueiredo's there, but he's going to have some guys fighting him, right? Bantamweight right now is stacked. It's probably the most stacked.
Yeah.
Right? But for a while, it was
flyweight has a stacked division as well.
Lightweight, welterweight is always stacked.
Yeah.
Those are the two divisions that kind of have never gone through tough times, at least not recently.
Not recently within the last 5 years. I would say during the Aldo days when he just was winning and winning and winning and winning.
That was featherweight. That was featherweight, though. He's fighting featherweight.
Oh, yeah. Lightweight. Well, no, then it would be probably when it was RDA. Yeah. I mean, at 155, the RDA was still had an exciting fights, but they weren't really paying attention that often because he was just dominating the 155 division to begin with.
Was he for that long? Well, he did have that little run, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a good run over a couple of years where he just never lost a title fight.
Yeah, but there's a lot of savages in the division, though. And I mean, there still is. The point I was trying to make originally was that divisions go up and down. Sometimes these divisions are stacked, sometimes these. But now the more that I think about it, lightweight and welterweight have been stacked for a very long time. Light heavyweight and middleweight have been much shallower.
Yes,
for a long time,
especially light heavyweight. For
a long time. So I kind of I've already disproved the point I was going to make when I really thought about it. Yeah, those divisions just traditionally are not as stacked. And heavyweight is a weird one because you have guys who, for whatever reason, heavyweight shelf life is a lot longer than a lot of divisions for some reason. It just is. I don't really know why. Maybe it's the amount of time in the fight. Some of those fights gets finished.
Yeah, I would say it's. I don't know. If you look at, I mean, it goes back even to boxing. I mean, fighting in general, the heavyweight division is always supposed to be the stacked division. Then the
baddest man on the planet.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the biggest, the baddest, the most destructive person on the face of this God's green earth.
Mm-hmm.
And you always had that's like, and I mean, UFC for what historically has had a very, very good heavyweight division. I think it's on the decline a lot now just because you really don't have a fresh coat of paint. I mean, we're getting Alexander Gustafsson. We'll talk about that fight coming in. But at the same time, you look at like a heavyweight division in the UFC has always been kind of a stacked thing. again, coming down. And I think Bellator kind of WCW cherry-picked for you wrestling fans from the 90s and took a lot of great heavyweights that were past their prime.
They're all old guys, yeah.
Yeah.
They have the octogenarian heavyweight division.
Yes.
What's the other word?
It's definitely the retirement.
Geriatric. Yes, the geriatric heavyweight division they have over there with like Hampage and Roy Nelson.
It's a retirement community.
Yeah, they're all in their 40s. But it is strange because it seems like there's more guys who are in the back end of their prime in the heavyweight division than there is new guys coming up. There's Rosenstrike. He's awesome. There's Francis. He's awesome. There's a couple guys that are all right, but not got a whole lot of guys that are super, super exciting. But then you have guys like DeSantos and Overeem who are at the end. Yeah. They're at the end. They may go on a run. It's very possible. DeSantos is fighting Rosenstrike soon. You know, if that's a really big win for him if he beats Rosenstrike.
Yes.
Overeem still got some in them, but they're at the tail end. You know, they're going backwards. Verdum is just about done. This is his last UFC fight, I believe. And he said he's not going to re-sign. He already said he's not re-signing with the UFC. He's going to go over to the geriatric heavyweight division of Bellator, most likely, and fight 56-year-old Fedor or Hampage Jackson.
Hampage Jackson.
Yeah, man. Have you seen him when he fought Fedor?
Yeah, no, he was a tubby boy at over 205. Like, he's not.
He weighed in 265 and this 60 pounds of fat.
It's insane, man.
It's nuts. He doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Even the light heavyweight division in a lot of promotions over the years has been sort of lackluster. Right. UFC, obviously, they got a big thing with it because it was the 21-year-old sensation, John Jones, comes in out of nowhere and becomes the heavyweight champion after beating Mauricio Shogun Hua. And you're just like, what the hell, man? Like, where did this go? And that was something that the light heavyweight division benefited from outside of having some of the best light heavyweight fighters in the world. I mean, you go to the light heavyweight division in Bellator, I guarantee you half. If you line up 10 guys from UFC and 10 guys from Bellator in the light heavyweight division, it'll be 5 more for the UFC than it will be for Bellator every single time. You'll get guys who can catch guys on certain days in Bellator's light heavyweight division, but a lot of guys in the light heavyweight division in Bellator are not that good. They're not.
Man, a fight I would have loved to see a handful of years ago would have been John Jones and King Mo.
Yes. King Mo Lawal versus John Jones would have been fantastic based on the wrestling alone.
Right. That would have been a great fight. I think John would have beat him because John's beat the best of the best. He's beat Cormier, beat everyone, Gustafsson, everyone. He's a monster. I think he would beat him, but it still would have been a great fight to watch.
Yes, that would have been fantastic. Side note, I'm playing UFC, or me and my buddy are playing UFC Undisputed 3 again. And it's kind of funny. John Jones in that, I think, is like 25. And what do you think his like fight rating was even back then? This was like 5, 6 years, or like 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago. What do you think?
Was it out of 100?
Yes.
96.
You're off by 1. It was 95. Yeah. He's a savage, dude. And that was the benefit for the light heavyweight division. Then once you start getting down, you can actually start seeing levels upon levels where you can see guys move up in certain places in the lower thing. But it's always the heavyweight and light heavyweight division always need to be the strongest. And for some reason in MMA, you get the dinosaurs who can stay around. And I don't know why. I have no idea why the heavyweights can last far longer than anybody else in MMA. It's an interesting thing.
I'm just now thinking of this. I should have thought of this before because it seems like an obvious answer, and it probably has a lot to do with it. Weight cutting.
Yeah.
They don't have to cut weight.
No. That's
the
actually
heavyweight division is 206, 265. Most of those guys don't have to cut weight.
No.
Right? So that just tells you what weight cutting does to your body. If they're lasting so much longer than everyone, the only thing we can really think of is weight cutting. Man, it has to be a huge, huge factor. It has to be.
I mean, it could be. That's it. That can definitely be a huge factor in why that there's so many guys.
Be a factor. Unless it's they can just walk around. Coincidence. Right. Unless it's a complete coincidence, which I don't think. It's been like this for a while. And boxing as well. Boxing too.
Yeah.
But I think it's weight cutting. It's the only thing I can really think of right now, and that has to be a huge factor.
probably. And also, I think that
It makes a lot of sense.
lower weight boxers can stay longer because they can go up like 4 pounds, 5 pounds to the next division and be like super whatever it is. And that's why a lot of boxers can stay around too, probably.
MMA needs to change the divisions up, man. Really,
Agreed.
It's ridiculous. So ridiculous. Here's my plan for this. Not too difficult. Okay, you turn 170 into 2 separate divisions. You make welterweight 175. You make a super lightweight 165, right? So you have 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, and 75 now, and 85. Now what? 95, because 20 pounds in between middleweight and lightweight is insane. So let's do 195. You call it a cruiser or like a super middleweight.
Cruiserweight works. I like cruiserweight for it.
It doesn't matter what they call it. Either way, that should happen. I don't know why they're doing it. The UFC has so many fighters. I don't know why they do it. They don't do it. They have a lot of divisions. They have a lot of really tough fighters and put on a lot of great fights. I don't know what the problem would be with having a couple more champions, but the weight makes more sense. Boxing, it's like weight classes are separated by 3-4 pounds sometimes.
Yeah.
Not 20. 10 and 20? I mean, we'll talk to Andrew tomorrow. He's stuck in the
no man's land about like a thing, man. They do need a middle between 185 and 205.
Some people's bodies are just are different, and they they kind of just float in between weight classes naturally. And so, they have to make weird decisions. They have to cut too much, or they're, guys are a little bit bigger than them because they're the fact that the two most stacked divisions always are lightweight and welterweight, and there's a 15 pounds apart, and they're always stacked. Why aren't they 3 divisions? Those should be 3 divisions.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're making a fantastic point, bro. Trust me. I'm all for that.
I mean, now that I'm saying it out loud and I'm thinking this through, they're just, like I just said, they're the most stacked divisions. It seems super obvious. Obvious to me. And I don't understand the argument against it.
Change happens slow, dude. I mean, it took 10 years. It took 10 years just for them to make weight classes. Or not 10 years, but it took a long time for them to get weight classes, dude. And even then there was like 4.
But now it's a big sport. It's a sport that's broadcast more than one promotion on ESPN.
Yeah.
On ESPN. That means it's for real, right?
Yeah.
So they have to think these things through, man. I think what it would start is some state commissions being like, hey, let's promote a super lightweight. Oh, it's 165. Or maybe like a super welterweight of 175, right? I think they should get rid of – you don't even have to get rid of 170, but I think it would make sense to turn 170 into 165 and 175. That makes a lot of sense. I don't understand. Like I said, to have the two most stacked divisions 15 pounds apart seems ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree, dude.
Seems like it's super obvious to do what I said, make it 3 divisions.
I agree with you, brother.
Whatever, man.
It should be, but again, change takes a while. And even now, 25 years later, or almost 30 years later, I mean, it'll take a while, but I think that there will be some new class that comes in at some point.
This sport, I mean, at a rate that no other sport that I can remember, changes and adapts so quickly because people are they're learning new things, whatever. They're changing new rules up, trying new stuff all the time, and there's all this room for improvement that anyone who watches it is like, they should absolutely try this. It's not like like baseball. We're both huge baseball fans. I hate what the changes they're making. I absolutely think they're disgusting. I hate them, most of them. I think they're awful. They're awful. But fighting, you see it and you're like, oh, there's so much room. It's not like an old guards, like old boys club style, a bit baseball people where they're like historians, but people like me that are old school baseball fans. They're like, I like it the way it's been for 200 years, right?
Yeah,
it's not like that with MMA because it's only a sport that's been around 30 years, not even 30 years.
30 years? No, it'll be 30 years in 3 years. Yeah,
so 27 years. It's not very long at all.
No,
right? We've both been on this planet longer than that.
Oh yeah,
and we don't feel like we're old just yet.
No.
So there's a lot of room, and I'm excited. And it's also gives you something to talk about because I think there's a lot of really interesting ways they could go and they should go. One way is weight classes. Other things is judging. That's another thing that needs to be done. That's another episode. But all kinds of stuff. So we have so much stuff to talk about. That's another reason this podcast is fun because there really is. Oh, that's one of the reasons because there's so much this sport changes so much, and there's all this debate about what they should do, what they shouldn't do, what they should change in the rules and scoring or whatever. And there's so much to talk about, man. That's why it's really fun to talk about the sport.
Oh yeah, man. That's why, that's why I think this is a universal sport, and also I think it should be in the Olympics because there would be a lot of country pride on who the best fighter in the world is in mixed martial arts. If you really, and we get ratings on NBC or even MSNBC every single time. It would be awesome to see.
It would be fun. I just don't know how it would work.
That would be something that the commission would have to kind of look at, but I think they would be smart enough to work with promoters who have.
You would almost have to have each country have multiple fighters at each weight.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
You'd have to have a lot of. Yeah.
And you like boxing, but in a cage, or even go pride and go for a ring. Why not? I mean. Even though I don't think MMA in a ring really works, I think give it an international flavor, and plus Russia, a lot of their things are in rings too.
Not as much anymore, man.
They
get rid of it. Yeah, if you watch most of the videos of guys who are coming over from Russia now, especially because Chechnya or the Chechen Republic has a huge MMA scene. Have you heard about their MMA scene?
Oh yeah,
it's crazy, man. If anyone who hasn't, if you have HBO, I don't know. Or did a Real Sports a year or two ago on it. Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. It's crazy how big that area of Russia. I think it's the Chechen Republic right now. It's in Russia. I don't think it's Chechnya.
It's in the Russian. It's in the Russian like sphere.
It is Russia, but it's not Chechnya anymore.
It's that great Euro-Asia area.
They have a huge MMA scene. It's kind of nuts.
Well, if you like Euro MMA, let's go south of the border, everybody. Carla Esparza is fighting Marina Rodriguez.
Ray, I love it, man. I love it, man. You're the conductor, man. We go off the tracks, man. We go into a field somewhere. We light up on fire. You're like, no, I'm Superman of this. I'm putting this train back on the tracks. Ray Hyclak. That's your job, man.
I'm like Greg Opie Hughes, except I have talent. Okay.
That's your job in this, and my job is to try to say whatever nonsense and bullshit I'm trying to say as articulately as possible. Which this episode has not been working very well. I've been very angry at my brain from not spitting stuff out the way I wanted to. I've been having pauses. Man, I'm sleepy today. My brain's been sleepy today, man. I've been foggy all over the place, man. I've been stuttering more than usual. I'm gonna work on it, I promise. But yeah, man, that's I do the nonsense, man. You got to steer the ship.
You're good, bro. Trust me. No, I've been the same way the past couple this week. It's been like sort of the last couple weeks have been sort of a fog. So I get it, brother. It's not been fun. But we have Bro Plata though. That's the lovely thing.
That is one of the one shining light, man. This has been fun.
Hell yeah.
It's been fun.
So what do you think about this fight, by the way?
Which one is it?
Carla Esparza and
off the rails again.
I love you, Tim. I really.
Who's Esparza fighting? I forget.
Marina Rodriguez versus Carla Esparza.
I don't know who that is.
All right, then guess what?
Esparza, I know.
Yes, I got.
Yeah, I'll take her too.
And how about this
favorite? Probably.
Well, this one you say favorite. This is actually my favorite fight of the card. Because of the implications that this has in the heavyweight division by itself, my friend. Holy shit. Fabricio Verdum, the former world champion, beaten by Stipe Miocic in Brazil.
So he got his belt from.
He is taking on a very legendary light heavyweight. And have you seen the photo of Alexander Gustafsson at the weigh-ins?
Didn't see the photo. I saw he weighed in like 240.
He is thicker than a Snicker, man.
I bet, man.
Thick. He looks great. Like he looks
probably
like a normal dude.
Probably, man. He looked like a like a shooting guard in basketball when he fought out light heavyweight. Didn't quite look right, man. He looked like Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had the body of like Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Yeah, it didn't look right, man. So it makes sense. I could see him having a resurrection at heavyweight for sure. Verdum is tricky on the ground, and if it goes there, he can absolutely sub Gustafsson. He could, but I don't think he's going to. Also, like I said, Verdum is on the last fight of his contract, and he has 1 foot out. He already said, "I'm gone."
Yeah.
So I mean, he'd like to win, probably get him a little bit more money. Probably won't matter that much, to be honest with you. But no, I think Gus is going to handle him.
Oh, yeah. I honestly got Gus in second round on this one. Verdum doesn't really – he tends to do what he did against Stipe a lot of the time. He's still in that, as Joe Rogan calls it, the shoot-a-box style, where it's you take two to give one, and that is not something you do against a kickboxer like Alexander Gustafsson, who has done the Swedish kickboxing and Norwegian kickboxing style, which is crisp and sexy the entire time you watch it. And to have Alexander Gustafsson go up to heavyweight, a lot of those shots now are going to have a little bit more power on him. They're going to be a lot more – he's going to be a little maybe slower. Hopefully his gas tank isn't affected by this. That's going to be something I'm going to kind of watch just with the extra weight. You really don't think so?
I think he's going to love heavyweight. He's going to love it. He's
Okay.
going to feel much better, man. He doesn't have to cut weight. I bet his gas tank's fine. I don't think he'll need the full gas tank, but I think he'll finish Verdum pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I think he'll feel fantastic, and he'll probably stay at heavyweight. That's my guess.
I would hope so. And if this really does work out where he can actually do that and make, inside the whole thing look really good, or inside his new heavyweight body work the same way he did at light heavyweight, it'll definitely be a danger mark for the heavyweight division in the UFC, because now you have a new guy in there who is a monkey wrench. I mean, this is a monkey wrench into the heavyweight division right here. Right. If Alexander Gustafsson, and possibly even when Alexander Gustafsson wins this fight, it's like, I'm sticking. Once he says I'm sticking at heavyweight, whoever wins between or whatever happens after the heavyweight thing, you have the heavyweight title match in August. You need to then think about Gustafsson, and also it's going to be on how dramatic this finish is, because I think there will be a finish. But I think if he puts a nice little punctuation mark on it, that may be the next heavyweight fight, maybe besides putting him against Francis Ngannou. I mean,
I'm calling my shot right here, brother. Ready? Calling it. So I was doing this. Calling my shot. He's going to finish Verdum.
Okay.
First round, calling it.
I got second, but okay.
Okay. Right. And then his next fight will be at heavyweight. He's going to stay at heavyweight. And he's going to give him – they're going to give him Overeem. They're going to give him Overeem.
Okay.
Overeem's coming off a good win against Walt Harris.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the fight that makes sense after Verdum. If they start him out with Verdum, I think – he wouldn't go from, even if he crushes it, he won't go from Verdum to Rosenstrike if he wins, or like Ngannou. He won't go that far.
Well, I mean, Rosenstrike is low, and
Overeem's coming off
still kind of newish, where he could have his way with him, I think. No?
Well, he's fighting Dos Santos next month. So we'll see what goes on there. But Overeem doesn't have a fight yet. That's why I'm saying that. I'm saying if he wins, as far as I know, unless he scheduled one recently.
I haven't heard.
As far as I know, he hasn't had one yet. So I see if that happens, he wins. I say that would make sense. That fight, Overeem. Call my shot. His next fight would be against Overeem. And that'd be a good fight, too.
I do. I like that because you got two legendary strikers going at it. One is a K1 Grand Prix champion, and Alistair Overeem, who, again, wearing the shirt. So to all you people who didn't who ordered that on pay-per-view. But it's one of those, and then obviously Alexander Gustafsson, crisp leg kicks, really knows how to get inside of his opponent and use. I always say the Glover Teixeira knockout is still one of the most insane moments I've seen in UFC history, especially with those, 6 uppercuts that he threw at Glover Teixeira's head, and they all connected. And this was right after Anthony Johnson had knocked out Glover Teixeira. So Gustafsson came in like a ball of fire against Teixeira, and if he beats him like he did Teixeira, you at least, I agree, need to give him a gatekeeper. You need to give him some gatekeeper.
And Overeem's coming off a good win, so
yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that.
And he doesn't. I'm also basing this off the fact that DeSantos and Rosenstryk are fighting, and like Overeem doesn't have a fight yet.
Yeah,
so that's
and
why.
that would be a logical fight to have for him, because
Right.
I think honestly that's those two guys in the heavyweight division should have happened years ago, in my opinion, because those two guys could have really done some damage in their youth. Now they're a little bit older, but Gustafsson still has a little bit of youth on his side.
Yeah,
I think
he's not too old.
No, and Overeem, I think once he got done being Ubereem, I think we're really starting to see the decline of the Mile High Monster himself, because it's just
Well, I mean, I've thought that for a minute, but then you think of what he just had against Walt Harris.
Yeah.
And before that, the Rosenstryk loss, which is a fight he was winning for four and a half rounds, almost the whole fight, until he got knocked out at the very end.
Yeah.
Right. And he's looked very good in that fight for the most part. So I think he still got something in there, man. I think he does. And another monkey wrench. And I heard this on Rogan's podcast. Apparently,
monkey wrench.
Yes. Anthony Johnson is coming back, and Rumble may jump his way into the heavyweight division.
That's been said for a while now, yeah.
I know, but if he does, I mean, that's also Gustafsson, Johnson, and heavyweight would be fun too.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, to me, like this.
I want Rumble to come back. I want him to come back, though. Everybody loves watching Anthony Rumble Johnson fight.
Oh, hell yeah. I got the privilege to see him at UFC 210 against DC. When DC beat him again, I was in the crowd for that fight, and that fight was awesome. I'll tell that story too one day. We'll watch 210 as well, but there's some funny little stories to that whole thing. I mean, Anthony Johnson needs to be back in MMA. Plus, at heavyweight weight, he looks insane. He looks like a dude that could just walk down the street, push you over, take your wallet, and the only thing that knocked you out was the push. I mean,
the fact that guy ever made welterweight seems criminal.
It's crazy, and honestly, it should be a war crime. If you think about it.
No, that really is what it feels like.
He looks so gaunt, and then when he got to light heavyweight, he looked like a savage, and you're just like, yes. This is what I want to see, especially when he knocked out again Glover Teixeira's tooth. That was still one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen on a pay-per-view. The top 10 at least. I mean, the guy's tooth came out, for Christ's sake. All right, let's talk about two legends. Ironically, we brought up one of them earlier, Mauricio Shogun Rua, and taking on the apparent ageless wonder in Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira.
Go home, little Nog. Go home. Go home. Go on your front porch with a rocking chair, dude. Listen, 44 is not old for a human being, but for a fighter, that you're basically 244, brother. Listen, we don't want the geriatric corpse, man. Listen, okay. Apparently, little Nog is getting right. They're putting him in the wheelchair. They're wheeling him out of the nursing home at what do they call it, like Octagon Acres, right? He's hanging out at Octagon Acres, watching the fights, and be like, I can still do that back in mud or whatever. I don't know. They give him his drugs, whatever. They put him in the wheelchair. They wheel him on out and like, let's dump this corpse into a cage and see what happens. Okay. I think this is going to be terrible. I mean, who is not the youngest dude ever, but he's also beat this guy twice already. I don't think Little Nog's going to have a choice. I think it's going to be so sad. It's going to be one of those fights where afterwards we're going to look at each other and be like, why the hell, Ray? Why do we even like this sport? Why do we like this sport? Because it's so brutal and terrible sometimes. We watch things like, why did we watch that for entertainment? This old man get his ass kicked. Don't want to see it, man. Little Nog, hang it up, buddy. Hang it up, Little Nog. Get this man. Oh, geez, man. Get this guy some fiber. Keep him regular. And keep him out of the cage. Keep him out of the cage. Oh, man. He's one of those guys that, like, when he's in the locker room and he takes a piss, you're going to know he's taking a piss because you smell all the vitamin piss. Like the supplements, he has an old person piss. I guarantee it. Because not only is he 44, he's
to replace the testosterone in his body.
Yes, 44 in fighter years is 244 at least. So yeah, he's basically a walking skeleton going in there, man, with about 200 pounds of flab on him. So yeah, Little Nog's got nothing. Even if they juice him to gills, man, it would just be an old man with a boner. That's it. It's different. So yeah, I'll watch it, of course, man, but I think Shogun's just gonna beat his ass, and the Shogun's got something in him. He still fights some young guys sometimes. So
and he puts in a great effort. I love the picture that they have on
Octagon
Minotauro
Acres
Nogueira.
Rest Home.
No, on Google. On the Google thing for like the thing, he looks like a Brazilian crypt keeper. Like he's like very taut face, and he looks like he's been smoking unfiltered Pall Mall since he was 12. Like it's
Probably has. Well, he's been fighting and doing steroids, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah,
probably even worse for you. So yeah.
And man, to me,
we talk about gatekeepers. That's a crypt keeper. You're right.
Yeah, that's a crypt keeper for sure.
Yes.
But this fight, yes, it's the JFC or the GFC, the Geriatric Fighting Championship with these two. Shogun is a legend. Like we said, John Jones beat him for the light heavyweight title. He was a legitimate savage in the division and a great ambassador for the sport. Do I think he needs to hook it up? Maybe a couple more years, throw him some young guys and kind of test him a little bit. I get it. But when you have Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, who was 36 when UFC Undisputed 3 came out, and he was a Pride legend on the game. He wasn't even a UFC legend. He was a Pride legend in the video game. Yeah. This fight should not be happening. But
their
guess
first
what?
fight was at Pride, right? Yeah, their first fight was at Pride.
Their first fight was in Pride. This is one of those fights where it's like Pacquiao and Mayweather. I'm happy to see it again for the first time, and it's awesome and great. But now if you were to do it now, I don't want to see it. I cannot see it.
Like it was when Golden Boy did Liddell Ortiz 3.
Yeah, nobody wants.
Like Ortiz had a little fight left in him, but Liddell didn't.
No,
that's what I feel like here. Who's got a little left? Little Nog doesn't.
No, Little Nog does not have it. Shogun is gonna embarrass him, and I hope he just taps him. I really do. I hope he gets a tap out. He doesn't really. He does so we don't have to really see any of this kind of go through, and make it embarrassing for people to watch. And even though it's free on TV, I still don't want to see an old guy get knocked out. Nobody wants to see that. The only old guy I ever wanted to see get knocked out was the guy that Conor knocked out. And even then I was kind of like, he shouldn't have done it. It shouldn't have been a thing. But I don't know, man. You look at these fights, you look at this, and it's the co-main on this card, too. So this is just sandwiched in between two really awesome fights.
All right. This is one of those, like, there's all these prelim fights in the beginning of the card of guys who we don't really know. Guys and gals we don't really know. Yeah. All those fights will probably be better than this fight. But these guys have the name, man. They pay their dues. If they want to give Little Nog one more fight, that's fine. I'm fine with them giving him one more, man. But if we're taking it, if you need the cash, all right, man. Man, I just hope it doesn't kill him.
No, I don't think he will. But at the same time, there's definitely going to be I hope they have a great emergency room on Yas Island, because this is going to be one of those they're taking to the Vincent Mann. They're taking to the emergency facility as we're speaking. I don't see that being a really good fight. And honestly, there was 1,000 other fights we could have had, but I think honestly this is probably Nogueira's last fight, if anything. I hope this.
I hope so too.
Like I hope.
No, man. Like wait 5-6 more years. Golden Boy would decide. Like, they'll throw a bunch of money at him and his brother to fight each other. That's what they're doing.
Well, who is winning? I don't know. They look alike. What's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. And now we can actually get to the meat of the matter. The fight I'm looking really forward to. And Robert Whittaker and Darren Till. Darren Till going to be sweet Carolining all down this whole thing. And I love this fight, dude. Like, I love the idea of this fight because it's a great fight in the welterweight division. Middleweight. Middleweight. In the middleweight division. And you look at it and you're just like, yes, two bruisers who will have as much stamina as they possibly can. They're gonna go for head swings that we've never. Especially Whittaker, because he's got something to prove after losing to Adesanya. He's still to show that he still has it. Darren Till had a spectacular loss to Tyron Woodley when he got darsed. and then has come back a lot as well. Both guys are on fire, so this is gonna be a nice fight to watch, especially since I'm a big Robert Whittaker fan. I like the guy. I think he throws a lot of his kickboxing with more, enthusiasm than most. That's probably why he was a former champion. But you look at him, and he's young still, and this is pretty much his road back to the title. And hopefully, he gets to fight Izzy again, and reclaim that belt, or at least just get a chance at redemption.
These are two guys who are really heavy kickboxing first.
Yeah,
like these aren't guys. I mean, this fight goes to the ground, it'd be very surprising, right? If either of these guys, I mean, I don't know, maybe one of these, maybe Till has it in his head that he could beat him that way, but I don't think he's going to try. He's not really that kind of fighter. They're both going to try to take each other's heads off, and that's what they both do best. So it'll be essentially a kickboxing match, but it should be great, man. They both throw like madmen, and what I was looking at on my phone, I wasn't trying to be rude. I apologize.
No,
I was looking up the line because this is my underdog of the fight, Ray.
Yeah,
underdog of the card. Underdog of the card. It's not a very big line, man. Darren Till is a plus 105, which is almost even money. Plus 105 underdog. So it's essentially a pick 'em. I think Whittaker is like minus 130, but I have Till 105. But man, that's if you're somebody who really loves Whittaker, man, that wouldn't be a bad bet. Minus 130. But I'm taking Till. I'm decided to pick an underdog. I'm taking Till. I like Till.
I'm gonna.
Man, imagine if he beats Whittaker though. Woo!
Oh my God, what a bump! That would be a bump in his cap right there, dude. If you look at Darren Till's kind of trajectory as a young MMA fighter, he's had a nice little start. He's had a nice little tail to a comet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's come through on a lot of big fights. He's got a personality to him, which you need for your fighters no matter what. You can't have just a Khabib Nurmagomedov all the time where it's nobody can have fun. You need guys who are like, we need people in the UFC who can sing Sweet Caroline that while he's getting the gel put on his face and all that kind of stuff. Those guys are fun. And the fact that this kid puts out people with one punch a lot of the time, and also with combination. That's one of the cool things about this, is because it makes it interesting, is both guys can put each other's lights out. And I'm gonna pick Robert Whittaker just because I am a fan, and you pick Darren Till, so why not have the contrarian point of view on this? But at the same time, man, I'm looking forward to this just because there's gonna be fireworks. Like, there's going to be fireworks, bro. This is great.
Yeah.
One of the best cards on Yas Island.
This is Till's second fight at middleweight.
Yes.
He beat Gastelum.
Yes.
Right? Who got tapped really quick. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
fight. Hermanson, he looked great. They got that heel hook. It was sick.
Jack Hermanson is awesome.
Hermanson. That's a sick heel hook. But no, this is a much better way for Till because he's a real big, wide dude too. He's one of those guys. Even when he was at 170, almost not as bad as Rumble Johnson, but another one of those guys where you were like, "Why is this guy fighting down here?"
Yeah, you can definitely tell his weight. His weight is more in the higher divisions, 185, 205. As he gets older, he's definitely going to be in those.
Right. I mean, he has to walk around at like 210, probably at least.
Probably, yeah. I think
he'll
be a problem, man.
I agree. This is going to be a good fight.
Dude,
I'm excited for it.
So lovely. I love it, man. And it's, again, it's two guys from the other side of the world, and they can get there quickly. That's what we need in these fights. Is we just need dudes. We need dudes and girls willing to just throw down. Let's party, baby, because the Yas Island is going to be open for a while. I don't see this closing. I really don't. I see this being like an attraction that UFC puts into like Dubai and all this stuff. So, and I'm looking forward to possibly one day going. I want to go. I want to go to Yas Island.
So do I, man. So do I. Someday, if they ever have crowds back, and it's not going to be anytime soon. I mean, it's not like 2021 is going to hit and magically we can have live sporting events with fans again. No, I mean, I think it's going to be. All right, I'm just going to take a bold prediction here, just as a guess, and say it's at least a year. Yeah, not for over a year, at least.
Oh, I'm not.
We'll still be having UFC events without fans.
Yeah, I don't see this being more. I don't see this going under a year. Like, there's no way. Like, even when this whole thing came out, and I remember Cage Warriors before they went into lockdown. They had their fight with no fans and all this stuff. You kind of get used to it after a while because you're more just focused on what's going on in the fight rather than what the crowd is. The crowd adds so much, but at the same time, if you got good camera work, you got everything going on, and you got two guys or two women willing to just beat the living shit out of each other for a payday, I'm in, bro. That's what I'm always down to. I'm always in.
And watching at home, there's no difference. No difference. I mean, it sounds a little different. That's about it. But if you're having a pay-per-view party, you have people over, it's exactly the same.
I will say
exactly the same.
I will say, though, that there is a difference per se, but what you're talking about is, I agree with you. It's basically like there's definitely a vibe when you get into an arena that's hosting a UFC event. It's this weird thing that you don't really feel in other sports. It's this, I know people say it all the time, but it is creepy how you do feel this like, oh, I'm on a different planet right now. Like this is, I feel like there should be bets and cigarette smoking like 2 feet away from me, It's a fun time, man, and I can't wait for it to start up again, my friend. It's going to be
especially, man, local cards, man. I mean, because we're doing this now because we're in quarantine and we're bored, and it's what got us to start this up, even though we talked about it beforehand.
Yeah.
But, man, when we start, so much more we can do when fight cards come back in Ohio.
Oh, hell yeah.
We start doing fights and shit, man. I'm excited for
we'll make some moves with this in due time for sure. Like that's going to be a thing that we're going to have our fans, one of the listeners that we'll have. We will definitely be doing different like stuff and having different interviews on. And yes, if you're listening to this right now, remember Andrew Law is going to be listening or watching this, the Andrew Law episode that we will be having, because he'll be our first guest on the Bro Plata podcast. He will be on, we will be interviewing him tomorrow, and then also putting it up Sunday. The audio version will go up right as soon as it's recorded. We will throw that stuff up because when you're doing MMA stuff and you're doing combat sports news or talk or anything like that, it's always something you kind of have to just do that day, and we're going to do that for you guys so you guys have content that we can put up there. Videos may take a little bit of time. I apologize for that on my end just because I have a slow, older laptop, but I'm making sure I get the video companion piece out there as well. And we love the fact that we get to do this. This is our 3rd episode. And like I said, this will be going up on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever else you can get your podcast needs met. And in the video portion, we're just going to do the comment section, or we're going to, in the video section, leave a comment. Also, if you're listening on audio, subscribe to us and give us a 5-star rating. It helps us on iTunes and Google Podcast, kind of get the algorithm so we can get more people listening to us. And I really appreciate people listening and sharing it out, liking the stuff that we're doing. We've had a few, not more than 5, I assure you, but we've had a few. And it's been a good time doing this. Tim, what's your social media where people can follow you?
At Dig Danko, DIGDANKO on Instagram and Twitter. Tim Danko on Facebook. Also, anyone listening, do you have any questions for us? You want us to talk about something MMA-wise? You have want to see what our opinion is on something, fights or fighters or rules or anything in MMA, or just anything in general? Why not? Yeah. They can drop that either anywhere on YouTube comments or on one of our Twitters or Facebook or Instagram, and we'll do it, man. We'll do it.
Absolutely. Any kind of listener feedback, anybody wants to get our opinion on stuff,
we'd appreciate it.
Bro Plata at Gmail for questions. That way I can get that because it goes directly to our email, and we'll do listener questions once we get down that line. And then also you can follow myself at Ray Hyclak, Hyclak. And guys, we appreciate you watching the Bro Plata podcast and listening to it on anywhere that you get your podcast needs met. Our next episode will have Andrew Law, MMA fighter. It'll be up Sunday. And we really appreciate you guys listening and watching. And hopefully you guys can support us every day that we put out a podcast. For Tim Danko, I'm Ray Hyclak. This has been the Bro Plata Podcast. And thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen.